I'm sitting on the parking lot of the range at the moment, so if you hear the gunfire in the background, forgive that. I'm just getting ready to go in and qualify students. I wanted to tell you an area where I think President Trump is going wrong. And you can then tell me whether you think I'm all wet or not. That's fine. And that is this. And I'll start off by saying and reminding you that I want law and order. I support law enforcement when they're doing a great job and they're serving the public as they should. What I don't support is law enforcement that is weaponized or law enforcement that is too powerful. And so here's where I think Trump is going wrong. It may be. I haven't seen what he proposed exactly. But during his speech the other day to Congress, he mentioned that he wants to give law enforcement more power, greater immunity, and he wants to make it a death penalty automatically to kill a police officer. Well, first of all, that latter one bothers me because a police officer's life is no more important than mine. Yet it's not a death penalty to murder me, but it's a death penalty to murder a cop. I wonder about that right out of the gate. I understand what he's trying to do, but I still wonder about it. The other is that if he's going to give law enforcement greater immunity and greater power than they already have, I question whether they don't already have enough immunity and they don't already have enough power. If you have not read James Duane's book, You Have the Right to Remain Innocent, you should do that. You'll find it on Audible if you want to listen to an audiobook. You'll find it on Amazon if you want to buy it. I think it's about $9. I regularly advise it to my students, and you read that and you'll understand why I'm bringing up this subject. Cops already have qualified or limited immunity, which means if what they do is within the law and within department policy, which means it'll be within the law most of the time, then they can't be sued. You have to sue the agency they work for. And they can't be prosecuted. You have to go after the agency they work for. That's pretty amazing immunity. They're also immune from other things. Whereas it's illegal for you to lie to a police officer in the middle of when they're asking you questions in the middle of an investigation, it is not illegal for them to lie to you. They can lie to you. They tell absolute, known, complete, utter, bold-faced lies to you in an effort to get you to confess or an effort to get you to reveal something or say something that they can use to prosecute you and put you in prison. And that's okay, and that's legal, and the courts will allow it. Even the most outlandish, crazy lies that you would think the court will never allow that, but they will. And yet, if you tell the smallest lie to law enforcement, that's a felony, and you'll go to jail or go to prison for it. So law enforcement has a lot of authority. If you say anything to a cop, and you later on want to have that cop testify to what you said because that helps you in court, they won't be able to do that because it's considered hearsay. However, if you said something to the cop that will help get you convicted, the prosecutor can ask the cop what you said, and the cop can testify to that as long as it will help you get convicted. They can't do it if it will help you and save you from conviction. So it's lopsided. There's an exception to the hearsay rule that will allow a cop to testify only to those things that would cause you harm and not to those things you said to the cop, which would do you good. So they have a tremendous amount of power already. I don't think they need more. So at the same time that President Trump laments and complains about the fact that the government was weaponized against him, that the FBI and the Department of Justice, all law enforcement, was weaponized against him, he wants to empower them to weaponize themselves against you or be weaponized against you and take away your ability to fight back. The reason why President Trump was able to survive the weaponization of government is because he's a billionaire and he had the money to fight back. I don't. Do you? People in California, for example, and other restrictive states have the government weaponized against them a lot. They get arrested for stupid things and they get imprisoned for stupid things that they wouldn't get imprisoned for in other states because they're stupid. But because these states love criminals and hate the law-abiding, they change the laws and work the laws so that they can imprison the law-abiding and let criminals go. Now, if that's not the definition of weaponized justice system against average, normal, hardworking people, I don't know what is. But the average, normal, hardworking people don't have the wherewithal to fight back. A guy like President Trump does. And as much as I appreciate President Trump, and I did vote for him all 3 times, and I'm very grateful he's president, I also understand that he's never been an average, normal, regular person. He's good at connecting with folks like you and me, and he does a good job at that, but he's never been you and me. His father was very wealthy, and he has always been extremely wealthy. Even when he lost a lot of money and had to get it all back, he was still doing better than I'll ever do. And he's never had to live the life I live or the life you live. And so while he can connect with us really well, and he's good at that, and he's talented at that, he has no experiential understanding of the life of an average American. And so he doesn't realize that the very thing that happened to him happens to average Americans all the time. The law is weaponized against them. The difference is they don't have the ability to fight it, and so they end up in prison, or they end up losing everything. And so while he complains about the law being weaponized against him, he wants to empower police more. He wants to give them more legal protection against you, the average law-abiding citizen who might want to sue because they're overstepping their authority, who might want to have them prosecuted because they're overstepping their authority, but then you won't be able to because their immunity gets bigger and more all-encompassing. And oh, by the way, they have more authority than they did before. That's okay when it's weaponized against you, when it's weaponized against me. But it's not okay when it's weaponized against a multi-billionaire running for president. I'm sorry, but Mr. Trump, President Trump, you are wrong in this. Law enforcement already has enough authority. They do not need more. They already have enough immunity. They do not need more. And by the way, if you're going to pass a law that says if a cop gets killed by somebody intentionally that murdered them, that is a death penalty offense, then why don't you do it for everybody? Because every person's life is just as important as the cop's life. Just because the cop is a government employee, which is what they are, does not make their life more valuable than mine. I think law enforcement needs to go back to what it was supposed to be to begin with. It's supposed to be a service that is provided to the law-abiding, average, regular taxpayer who pays for it. And their job is to take care of the criminals, the obvious crimes that we all know are wrong. They're right there in the Ten Commandments. It's not hard to figure this out. Deal with them and let the average, hardworking American go about their lives, because cops have dealt with that. That's the service they're supposed to provide. Here's the service they're not supposed to provide. They're not supposed to provide the service of going after the average American for nitpicky little stupid stuff. If you read that book I suggested by James Duane, again, I'll quote it, I'll tell you the title again, You Have the Right to Remain Innocent. If you read it, you will find out that there are so many federal and state laws that on any given day, pretty much every honest, hardworking American commits a felony and has no idea they're doing it. Every day you do. Every day you commit a felony. You don't even know you did it because you don't even know the law exists. Which means on any given day, your government, state or federal, can prosecute you and put you in prison. All it requires is a cop willing to do it. And you want to give them more power, Mr. President, and you want to make them immune. God save us from that.